Hello, young Smite fans. Tom, F. Badger, right here, back with my man, Cret. We're going to take a look at Five Men versus Resist Gaming. So just joining us, this is a $1,000 Hi-Rez tournament, the last weekly of North America. We had a bunch of teams show up today. Five Men fought out.
There are no more weeks?
This is the last weekly, just like the last weekly.
This so worried.
But so Five Men fought out. They beat their old nemesis, Apex Predator, and they made it all the way to the finals. Resist beat out Torch. That was that must have been a close match. Torch looking very good in the first match that we got to see. Torch versus Cabana. But Resist Gaming wants it. So it's going to be 5 a.m. versus Resist Gaming. If you guys are new to the scene, Five Angry Men is a storied franchise, sort of the rest of old Denial with Rushed and Mace of the Face. However, we do see a swap match. We will see the best joining the ranks of Five Angry Men. So not only do they get that first pick, Sylvanas on the way. Q playing support will most likely be on that character, but the best will be playing in that solo lane. Interesting to note, Isis banned out one of Mace of the Face's best characters.
Yeah, Isis banned out by Five Angry Men themselves, which is a little strange. Not really sure what's going on there. No idea. I do want to mention, though, that Best coming in, he is the starter for Five Angry Men in the solo lane, and they're definitely stronger with him on the field. Best is just a little bit angrier than Rush. Rush is a very easygoing sort of person, definitely can be angry, but Best, I think, is, while a little bit of a passive and seemingly easygoing kind of guy, sometimes just simmers. Quietly, a quiet simmer. Osiris and Vulcan locked in. Five Angry Men will be taking the Smith of the Gods into the middle lane, and the Lord of the Afterlife likely into the solo lane. Still possible to jungle him, but usually we see solo.
I actually think that Osiris in the jungle is the better all-around pick, but we've seen more success in the solo lane on Osiris at the professional level.
Right.
I think that's
and
just
I think there's reason
to the nature
too.
of Divios and the players.
I think there's more to it. First of all, tanky picks like Hercules. That's the obvious answer. And Osiris is great against Hercules. You can reduce physical damage, you can reduce his damage, you can reduce his healing in two different ways. You build chin size and it's good on you. Like, there's a lot going on there. But it's also the fact that right now, well, Thor's banned out, Serket's banned out. We're probably going to see a Thanatos from Five Year Men, which is important to mention because I think that's next on Homophase list, so you'll be happy about that one. Yeah. Or often is. It could be something else. Ganking power junglers that are strong early and mid are so important right now, and Osiris is the opposite of that. He is so far away from that. It is very ludicrous. I think Osiris Jungle might be better than Osiris Solo, but Osiris Jungle isn't good right now.
Yeah, I like the Osiris Jungle into the rump, sort of like we always have this conversation with Thanatos. You only pick Thanatos when there's hard to kill people. If Osiris gets picked into a Ra Aphrodite or a Ra Chunga, throw him in the jungle. I think Ra Sylvanas, now that the thing, throw him into the jungle and you can spread his anti-heal all around the map. That's exciting. Whether or not that will work is a different story. Five Angry Men go hovering over Nox and Kali. Nox and Kali will be locked in. So we have I'm going to go ahead and guess that Kali will be in the Hunter role.
See, I think it might be Osiris Hunter.
Okay.
All right. It's going to be likely Vulcan mid. Actually, no, I don't think it will be Nox solo. I feel like Nox and a Hercules is a bad idea.
Nox and a Hercules is not the best idea.
Yeah, that's probably not the best idea. I don't think they're going to do that. So we'll probably see Vulcan mid, or Vulcan or Nox mid. We might see the Vungle. It could be a lot of different things. Nox, Kali, or Osiris could be your Hunter pick. Vulcan could be your Hunter pick. Sylvanas' support, we know that much. Let's move on.
This is Five Angry Men, and it features Shadow Q. You can't say that. Shadow Q could definitely
I think he'll
support
play
Osiris.
Oh, it could be solo Sylvanas.
It could be support Osiris. It could be a number of things. I wouldn't put it past this team, but Sylvanas in the solo lane.
Well, looking at what people are picking, Trades are done. So it's going to be Sylvanas support with Vulcan ADC, Nox in the middle lane up against Ra, which I think is a pretty good matchup for Nox. Osiris in the solo lane up against Hercules, which is a pretty good matchup for Osiris. Kali in the jungle. Hercules is screwed this game. Hercules is in so much trouble.
Yeah, Hercules
up against Osiris and a Kali. You're not tanky anymore. You can't, like, I hate damage Hercules. It only works when you're fed, but I think it's the only option this game. Because tankiness will not exist unless you go Nemean Midgardian.
Very, very true. We'll talk a little bit more about why Hercules was so tanky after the break. We'll get into a little bit of the nitty gritty. So stay tuned. This is game one of your finals. 5 Angry Men versus Resist Gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your finals. The last Hi-Rez Weekly. 5 Angry Men versus Resist Gaming. Sorry for the brief delay. A couple of players had some technical difficulties, but we're here. We're right in the action. We're ready to go. 5 a.m. already getting grouped up on the left-hand side, looking that they want an early invade. Again, sort of a calling card for this team.
Yeah, although Homofe lagging behind a little bit, they don't have the best catch with this composition. They're going to walk over a ward, so...
Rip.
Not going to be finding anything, and it wouldn't have been the strongest invade either way, but Resist Gaming knows the drill. You're up against Fam, you sit under your tower. That's how it works. And then they invade you anyway.
5 Angry Men just definitely a little... People know their tactics by now. Like we said, Rushed and Mace of the Face make up this team right now. Rushed being replaced by the best for this game. But they come from Denial, and that lineage is very much early invades. Right-hand side, we're going to see just that. 3 members deep, looking at the speed.
Yeah, and Resist Gaming is just going to grab the blue real quick. We'll see if it works out for them. As Best is going over. Mason Best will contest this. Double hogs. That's the correct play, and Resist Gaming is just going to walk away. Best getting pretty good. Oh, pushed into tower. Best is in so much trouble. Will die. Great play from Awesome Max, just with the quick back step into Driving Strike. Perfect.
Great positioning coming up by Awesome to the max. That was just player skill. Understanding
awesome
positioning
to the
and
max.
spacing. Great play over there. Left-hand side, Resist trying to make something happen over there as well. Paradox on this duo lane Vulcan that Snoopy has made just so powerful, or popular rather, about 50%. So thanks Snoopy for all of your Vulcan play that you keep seeing, and that's going to be an interesting lane going forward for sure.
Speaking of interesting, in the middle lane, we've got a stark contrast between 5 Angry Men's 2 characters. You've got Nox, who is incredible early game thanks to her poke, and Kali, who's incredible late game thanks to chin size. So definitely an interesting dichotomy there. Ooh, Mace of the Face is going to find some really good poke on an Ascend dude there, and this Ra probably needs to end up leveling his heal. Otherwise, he's just going to die. Probably
the direction he's going to go in. Mace of the Face able to... I mean, in Nox's current iteration, we'll talk about it in a second, Chaos stunned out by Homofe. Good damage from Nox. 1 or 2 more shots, and that should be it. Mace of the Face claims the life. Kill goes to the mid lane. The mid lane of the jungle will combine along with the support for the red buff. So that's going to be a great kill, great pickup, great invade. 5 Angry Men starting off already so well, despite giving up first blood, only down 100.
Mid lane, Homofe. Perfect. Lash is actually an incredible burst damage move when used properly. You get the extra little bit of physical power from your incense buff. You hit all 3 lines, and you get the DOT coming in. It does quite a lot of damage, and then with the speed buff and with the canceling properties of Lash, you can easily get a kill. Now coming over to the solo lane, Driving Strikes and Miss, jump in, doesn't connect with the jump. Incense should have autoed before the Lash, but it's fine, and Awesome Max is gonna take that poke and return to under tower. Remember, that did a lot of damage considering Smithy's hammer in his inventory.
Also, the Max regenning a little bit with those mitigate wounds. Gonna kick things under his tower. He'll lose a little bit of gold, but he'll be able to clear it safely. That said, Osiris still poking him. Gonna be forced back into base. He is a level up because of getting that first blood, though. So while he'll lose this wave, it'll just even up the lane. It's not gonna give him a deficit in lane. But left hand side, lot of aggression coming out again from the Vulcan. Hudat very low, and Pantheon's to roll.
Hudat now heading over to the middle lane, and these left Harpies are going to not be contested. Actually, Hudat caught out, Earthshaker coming through, knocked up combo, Paradox gets the kill. Great synergy between Sylvanas and Vulcan there. Just so much lockdown from the support allows easy confirmation on Vulcan's abilities.
Which was always one of the harder things to do, confirm the damage on Vulcan. That was, once upon a time, people thought he was bad. Not this caster, but their main concern was that Vulcan's damage was hard to confirm because of that turret. Well, along with the pull and some other workarounds, and we've sort of seen the right people play Vulcan, so now we see how to do it. That damage is confirmed a lot. That's why we're going to see a nerf to him in the next patch.
Yeah, definitely something that he could use a little bit of a touch. He's just so strong, and honestly, any character with 4 damage abilities has that potential. Speaking of potential, though, Nintendo in a lot of trouble. Will die to Homofey, now 4-1, and that was just... That's FPS corner camping. 5 Recommend is pulling out all the style kills. This could be a tether onto Austin Max. Jump in. He's gonna actually be okay now, starting around 2v3. Earthshaker driving strike under the tower. Misfits does not have a way out and will fall, but a 3-man stun. Homofey wants the turnaround kill, can't quite find it. Shadow Q is gonna show up. 5 Men loses a player, still gets 2 buffs.
Double invade on the right-hand side, as you said. Cred, here comes an ultimate from Nintendo, enough to secure, it looks like. So that's going to be the speed buff going the way of the correct team. Resist Gaming earning their own jungle, but the blue buff not going to suffer the same fate, unfortunately, for them. You know, I got to say, Awesome to the Max is playing lights out. Resist Gaming has a team that we've seen Pantheon, as we said, coming out of the ranked scene. Hudat is a player that I know I've interacted with a bunch putting on these tournaments, and Nintendo 64 has been playing for a long time. But Awesome to the Max has really made a name for himself in this sort of like semi-pro bridge between the teams that lose really quickly and the teams that can fight against these pro teams. And I love to watch this individual grow. And one of the and we get to see him right now. The things he's doing are spatial awareness and superior spacing, which is sort of like the advanced classes of Smite.
And definitely, he's also played multiple roles. Has played jungle and solo. Very young too, I believe 16, and definitely could have a future if he keeps up the hard work. Best in the solo lane, taking a fair amount of damage from minions, but in that ethereal form, taking less damage. And he's actually going tanky first, so heading into that Smithy's Hammer. So it's a tank versus tank solo lane. Invade on the left-hand side, though. Face getting aggressive, forcing off Hudat. And now red buff should be taken by 5 Men 4-on-3.
You know, another tenement of this 5 Men team, or I guess I should just say Mace to the Face, is his ability or his desire or his lack of trepidation when it comes to newer gods, especially when people don't like them. Giannis was thought to be a poor choice once upon a time, until Mace to the Face played him lights out, and then everybody just sort of realized that he was really good. I think Vulcan is the exception to the rule, where that is the one mid god that...
Oh, left-hand side, though. Vulcan could be in trouble. Fighting a 1v2, drops the Earthshaker. Will connect with Pantheon before he goes up. 1, 2, doesn't hit. Third, will. Magma Bomb. And not going to find the kill. It was a well-fought 1v2. That was closer than it should have been.
It really was. Going back to what I was saying about Mace to the Face, as he provides some pressure, Vulcan is probably the only mid-god where where public opinion has been swayed without the help of Mace to the Face. Isis was looked at as really poor. Mace to the Face played her lights out. Now we see people like Sayo and otherwise really play her, hit her at a high level. Giannis, obviously the same thing. And Nox. I mean, Nox is being drastically changed, so there's a lot that are going into it, and I don't think Mace to the Face is going to be the one to get Nox played, but this is the second time we've ever seen Nox in a competitive environment, and he's doing it well. So I respect Mace to the Face's willingness to grab the underplayed and newer gods in the face of adversity.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that he's always done, and in part, I think novelty is an attraction to doing that, but it's also just often good when your opponents don't quite know how these gods work. You can take advantage to figuring stuff out first.
Yeah.
I mean, release Zhang Kui was not thought to be a good mid.
You know who played him?
Mace to the face.
Mace to the face. That's what I'm saying.
And you know what? It was really annoying.
It really was.
Hate
Back
Zhang
then, once
Kui.
upon a time, they used to heal.
Oh my god, yeah, I know. And all you could do was pick Isis and hope for the best.
Zhang Kui was also a little bit of Smite history for you. Zhang Kui is the original iteration of the ultimate healed, and we saw support Zhang Kui more than I'd like to admit.
We did, and this was also, he was one of the characters that really brought us from 4 bans to 6. It's like, we need something else, we need a little bit more, because there's just a little bit too much that's good. Another Speed Invade coming out, speaking of good things, and Fireman is just so practiced at this. They engage on the buff, do a little bit of damage, hog to confirm, but now Shadow Q could be in trouble, gonna use his ultimate to buy some time and get out. Udat might be the target. Earthshaker to buy some time. Mesave picked off on his rotation in 4-4 in kills, but Firemen, they're up in gold and experience, as expected.
1,000 gold difference doesn't really matter too much. The 2,500 experience tells a little bit different of a tale. It's not exactly skewed in either direction, but Firing Man definitely off to a little bit more of a lead than the enemy team. Now, let me ask you this real quick.
No.
Firing Men.
Your middle tower is under attack.
There are so many similarities to the Rambozos. Is that just the time that they've shared in the challenger scene? Have they just played against each other enough to have a similar playstyle? But this heavy invade, heavy coordination, pincer mechanics that we're seeing out of 5 Angry Men is something that the Rambozos have done a lot. Is that just the matter of sharing the same tournament scene, or are there other things at play?
I think it's also just the nature of this tournament format. When you spend more matches playing up against teams that you're favored to win against, right? When you're the 1st seed or whatever, going up against teams that are 7th seed, 8th seed, and you expect to win, you play aggressively and you invade.
Right.
And then your team just gets really good at it, so you do it all the time. And, you know, the moment you stop doing that is when you run into some trouble. So I think in part it's just the nature of being one of those dominant teams in the challenger scene. Pulled out of tower, isn't intended, into the ultimate, will die there. Shadow Q finding it with the DT. Trying to engage is Chaos, but not going to do enough damage to Mace Face. That shield, though only rarely, did help out Nox this time.
Red buff being aggressed on by Resist. Pantheon chased out by Homafei. Gonna be jumped. No stun to be seen. There's the spiders. That's gonna slow a little bit. Isn't enough to deter. Remains to be seen. Shadow Q still here. Up in the air is Rom. Who's he gonna target? Looks like he can't choose one. Poorly timed Magma Bomb. Pantheon might get out, but there's a Vulcan ult. Gonna force to go the wrong way, but that's the right way. Now he's gonna die. Mace to the face finally getting kill credit. Chaos stuck out. Ultimate is good. That should secure the safe departure for the spider.
You know, his best option was to run through that Vulcan ultimate, because Vulcans often don't level that second. Paradox, in fact, did not. So it might not have killed him. And turning to the right did kill him, definitely. So it's just tough decisions. And a big part of that was Homafei. His stun interrupted the roll. Hudak coming in, finds a nice taunt. Resist Gaming gets the gold here. They're going to come back with a substantial amount of gold. They just need to do well in this team fight. Running out is Homafei with that dash, giving chase is Chaos, but not going to be able to close range. In the midst of 4 members, Austin the Max is trying to buy time, but he's not going to buy enough. Lord of the Afterlife will confirm the kill onto Chaos.
What
Not
a beautiful pull that was coming out from the Hercules. Unfortunately, the Magma Bomb was headed for the same target. Otherwise, that would have been a free and clear Arachne. Just barely. Oh, man, that's so unfortunate for that Hercules. Also, the Max pulling out the plays, but good good decision-making from 5 Angry Men, making sure that there's double damage going out. Paradox in a very bad spot. One more basic attack. What do we call that one?
I've seen some dead Vulcans before, but not like that. You can't do that to somebody. It's just not sporting. That's where you just let him go. Just stare him. Yeah, you know you made mistakes.
and then toss a Magma Bomb over the over the wall. But that's going to be a dead Vulcan. 8-5 read the kills, but the gold reads a different story. 31 to 30,000 gold. So Resist Gaming very, very close. You know, this is an interesting match, especially considering the dominance we saw earlier by 5 a.m. Speed buff under contestion. Homafei trying to get damage on Awesome the Max, but he's just going to be deterred.
A call out will be used defensively. Now Arachne, she's skittering through the web, not going that much faster, not enough to catch the speed buff Kali, but maybe enough to catch the best as Arachne gets a Fatalis in her web. Boulder coming through, doesn't quite connect to the way they wanted to, and Chaos will fall. Hudat maybe as well for his team. Sin's just waiting on the cooldowns from Mesaface, gonna try and dash away. Will be able to. And that's a 1-for-1 with another speed buff taken away. Chaos has not been able to get that in a long time.
I really like the play coming out from Awesome the Max's Hercules.
Actually, ever.
Everything Awesome the Max is doing is I'm reading it nicely. I love what I'm seeing. The boulder was the perfect way for him to interact in that fight. Either you get the knock up and you help your team, or you don't. But you're not going to go ahead and put yourself in harm's way. Who dat gets Homafei? Hubris
so
is the word of the day. Now that's exactly what that spider is going to suffer from. Tried to dive, not able to quite do it. Great taunt coming out from the Athena. Deterred to put the damage on hold for just long enough for the tower and the Athena to do the damage. So great play coming out from Hudat right there in the support role for Resist Gaming.
Actually, the word of the day is whippersnapper.
I will just ban you.
Hey man, I checked. It's the actual word of the day. Mesaface in the middle lane doing fairly well on this Nox. Has died a few times, but his damage is looking pretty good, sitting at 12,000 player damage in 15 minutes. Right hand side, the bruisers are bruising it out. No chin size available yet on the best, but they are there on Kali, finishing up that fairly recently, so will be incredibly strong right now. 15-minute mark, Homafei officially online. Look for him to maybe take over the game.
Yeah, solo lane, while not as boring as the Chalk solo lane, as we're going to see the turnaround. The best very low. So is also the beautiful jump into the boulder. That kill is going to go the way by Awesome the Max.
That's a hard read. Because here's the thing. If he was aiming that boulder at the best, it would have flown over his head when he landed, and that was the best's plan. But he didn't do that. He aimed at his feet, so the boulder connected, became a real target, and got the kill. In the middle lane, Nintendo will fall. That's just the power of Kali. And Nox using that Nox ultimate to lock down the Raw, so there's really just no options whatsoever. So, getting another kill, but man, Awesome the Max just teaching the best how to play.
It was great. Like you said, it was the hard read that really made it. Good pull on the Chaos. Not going to be enough. Dot damage not enough. They're not going to chase it, but a great taunt on Mace's face. That's trying to save his jungler. Whether or not Hudat's going to pay is a different story. That's all right. That's all right. Great taunt. I like that. I like that presence. Just in case they decide to dive that deep, they go ahead and provide some distance for his jungler. 3 members in blue in this middle lane. Here comes the 4th with the Paradox. They're going to look to take this tower. Paradox has gotten out of the lane since taking that tower down on the left-hand side. So 4 men deep, they're going to look to siege.
Yeah, tower likely will go down here, and Homafei is actually a big threat. Does have his ultimate available with a speed buff as long as he can get in. But one of the biggest weaknesses of this 5-ring men composition is they're horrible at killing towers. They have a Kali and an Osiris. Vulcan's not going to be that great at it. Nox not going to be that great on it. Left-hand side, though, nice snipe will connect. Paradox, King Missile Beam on the way out and will fall. Earthshaker connects. Chaos up in the air on that web, and 5-ring men not able to re-engage.
This is what we were alluding to earlier, folks. 5-ring men have a very, very strong early game, and I mean, it's really unfair to call 5-ring men denial. At this point, it's really just it's the face that was on team. But 5-ring men have solidified their own reputation as an early game team due to their invades and stuff like that. So their early game is fantastic. Where is the transition to the mid game? The last game we saw where they did very well, they had specific picks to help them in the mid game. Shadowq Sylvanas does very well in the mid game, and I guess you could say Osiris does well once he gets those chin size, which is mid game item. But other than that, there is no transition. And right here we're seeing that downfall. Resist Gaming trailing by only 100 gold, 1 kill, and winning the solo lane despite tower damage. So this is very even, and this is where Resist Gaming wants to make their move. Accept the defeat in the early game, and then come back to do something mid.
Well, they have to make the move here, right? They've got Arachne, Rom, Hercules, Ra, all very strong mid-game characters, but the moment you hit late game, Kali, Osiris, Vulcan, Nox, just a much better late game composition. So Vigerman honestly should be losing fights here if the game goes textbook, right? If we simulated this game, Vigerman would be weak right now and they'd be losing fights because they're not that strong in the mid game. Kali, sure, she does a lot of damage when her shade size come online. It's a huge timing because she can kill anyone. But Homofae doesn't have what he needs to stick to targets. He doesn't have his beads done. He doesn't have his Fatalis done. Will be going Fatalis because he can't get sprint, so he can still stick, not opting for the heavy hammer. Stuff like that is super important to think about. In the solo lane, well, Best doesn't have his chins online yet. Just starting those, has the light blade, so it's going to be another 5 minutes, and then you need to be afraid of 5-ring men. They're using their early game to bridge to late game and slide through the mid game. Boulder coming out, not quite finding the Best. Use Lord of the Afterlife defense.
5 angry men surrounding this. Awesome, the Max Hurts. Great baits coming out from the Best, and Homofae is going to make him. Sometimes you just got to stick around. That's exactly what happened. That's how you can turn a losing lane otherwise. The precedent has been set that the Best is going to lose that to Awesome to the Max. So Awesome to the Max feels confident in taking that attack. He goes and he fights, except this time 5 men have 3 additional players there to help out the Best, and you cannot 1v4. So he just goes and dies to the wayside.
Rom recalling on the left-hand side means that there's not enough numbers for Resist to contest the left. Harpies and 5 angry men hitting the 20-minute mark. Late game is starting, and Fatalis is done on Kali, so perfect timing. Picking up the speed buff is Homofae. Just probably going to look at beads, maybe a Magi's next, so we can not really care too much about CC. But honestly, I think Kali's just going to run rampant, right? Like, how much CC is there? You've got Hercules, the Arachne stun, and an Athena taunt. So it's an 18-second cooldown, 2 abilities used roughly at the same time with a 15-second cooldown, and a stun when someone auto-attacks you for long enough on a 15-second cooldown. And that's all Kali has to worry about.
Yeah,
Homofae's going to kill everybody.
Magi's blessing, you think, or no crit?
I think beads is enough, but you could go Magi's blessing. If you remember, we used to cast a lot of 3v3. You remember when teams would build 3 Magi's when their opponents only had a Chunga? And it's like, your Waxing Moon is useless. Right. Might be something like that. Gold Fury, it looks like Resist Gaming wants the fight.
They do want the fight, and they will take it. 4 members here in blue, only 3. Arachne trying to make it around the back. Awesome to the Max. It's hit by the Vulcan ult. That'll be a big deal, but he will recover with mitigate wounds. Hudat taking a lot of damage. Homofae in that ultimate destruction, not enough. Gets the kill onto the tank. Rom goes in the Awesome to the Max tanking separate members. Not enough there. Pantheon chasing down. Might be able to get the Vulcan, but a group will provide the distance needed. And Chaser Pantheon. Great roll is going to avoid the lash, but it won't be enough to avoid the damage. He's going to go ahead and fall to Kali. Homofae takes that kill. And that is a 4-1 trade. Resist Gaming wanted that fight, could have taken that fight, but unfortunately for them, win the fight. That is a Gold Fury for 5 angry men.
It's a Gold Fury off of a 5-0. 5 angry men hit their late game. They got their Kali. And here's the thing, right? The way Resist Gaming went in, they engaged with Hercules. They engaged with a dash taunt from Athena, and there was nothing left to stop Kali. Because Arachne was trying to dive, and Arachne has to dive. So there's just no one to peel. Kali can kill any of the backline characters. She can kill Rom. She can kill Ra. She can kill Athena. And when no one's screening for them, it's just free.
And I mean, that right there is why a lot of supports don't like playing Athena. Jeff Hindla has famously said that he doesn't like Athena because once you dash taunt, there is nothing for you to do as a support.
Yes.
You can't you either peel or aggress, and I think that's personally this caster thinks that because of that Athena doesn't engage. You want Awesomeness to engage, so then you can peel with the help of Athena. And there are things that could have gone other ways, but the way they played that fight, they took all their options and they front loaded them. And once all the ammo were gone, there's nothing left to do with that shotgun. So Five Fingerman turns it around and just takes the fight, takes the Gold Fury, and eventually, and actually takes the first huge lead of the game. 13,500 experience and 5,500 gold just 23 minutes in. That's going to be the first meaningful lead of this 16-9.
I mean, honestly, I think it was the hallmark of a balanced character on Athena, ignoring her ultimate, just her base kit. You can engage, and it's really strong, or you can peel, but you have to pick one. Nintendude can use the base there so he doesn't get pulled, but it's going to be the mid tower falling nonetheless. So, just to finish up that Athena thought, right? You dash taunt, that's incredible. You can engage every 18 seconds. Every other support practically has to buy Blink for that. I mean, there's Bacchus, but he has the same problem. So that's an incredible advantage. You give up a lot for it too. Awesome Max a little bit caught out. Gonna take some poke. Raw Beam, Raw Ultimate fired back through, and with a little bit of CDR, he's gonna have that up in 40 seconds. So holding mid tower, likely losing right tower though.
Right tower, 5. Quite literally angry men coming up on the right-hand side. Resist Gaming has to go the back way to play some defense. That's what they're going to do. Tower, not a lot of damage has gone down, so Resist can fight under this. This is the 6v5 that they want. Unfortunately, Five Finger Men understand that, and they're going to shade towards the mid. This is what they're going to credit. Five Finger Men have a shorter distance between the jungle to deal damage to each tower by going backwards than Resist Gaming do by going around the back way, and they'll just do this all day.
Well, or they would. Great Earthshaker there, landing on Awesome Max. He's very low and will die to Kali. Getting the target is Homoface. So a little bit extra gold and healed to full, but will need to back off. Still has the ultimate if he needs it. There are 4 players up. Hudat getting rather low with the poke. There's really Nintendude that needs to be focused on. Hudat will fall, actually, dashing in the jungle. Shadow Q finds it with one of his abilities. Rom split pushing there. And Kali actually recalled to deal with it as Rom recalled, so it is now 3v3 in the mid lane.
Classic time for these two casters. Spend a lot of our times in the 3v3 scene. Get one lane with 3 members is something that we are definitely accustomed to, but Banger Men going to go ahead and find them into the jungle. Look at Fire Giant. I stress that word look, folks, because I'm not sure they really want this fight. They are ahead gold etc. by about 1,000, but 6,000 gold is a fight that Resist Gaming can take. Kali jumps in the back line. Pantheon does not exist anymore. Homoface very quickly. We have reached that hyper carry point.
Yes, we have. Oh, shell used. They're just going to turn on Awesome Max and kill him right quick. Double sets of
Little
shin
too
size.
soon.
We'll reset the Fire Giant, but that's fine because they can just kill it again. And Vulcan is pretty much the same thing as Freya, the opposite unicorn build. Very good at killing objectives like the Fire Giant Gold Fury, very bad against structures.
very true.
Dead
Nintendude gonna fall down. 2 Mace in the face. That ultimate damage actually. Celestial Beam killed him. So that's gonna be that. But Mace in the face very low. Chaos gets the kill, but will he get killed? Oh, well, there he is. Homoface gets a couple of basics off, and that'll slay the spider. That is a deicide. As the DM Brandon voice pack lets us know. And this should be a Phoenix as well. Fire Giant, right tower, right Phoenix. Maybe even mid Phoenix will go down. You got 5 seconds on also to the max. Rom's up, but that's about it. They should get this right-hand Phoenix, and with the help of Kali's speed, they should get middle Phoenix as well, depending on how well Resist plays it. But Five Finger Men have noted, Fred, that also to the max is the target. And they're going after Hercules each and every time, which sounds backwards, but that's the player that's playing the best on this team.
And he dies fast enough. So, yeah, I mean, it's just in the nature of Hercules. The play style is to put yourself out of position. And in doing that, in playing Hercules properly, Awesome Max is just going to die, unfortunately. Now, up in the front, not quite caught yet. And Kali is still waiting around the edge of the fight, trying to poke. There's the taunt shell used and driving strike. Kali's gonna jump out though as Bess is carving through the front line. Not doing too good a job of it though. Can't find the targets he wants, and Firemen just disengaged there. They do have Fire Giant regen, but that's about it.
Good knockup from Awesome to Max, or on to Awesome to the Max, I should say. Again, out of position a little bit, ahead of his, that's kind of what Hercules wants to do, but not able to really force anything. Magma Bomb down, they can position a little bit more. Best gets flipped, but the driving strike will miss. That is a bad mechanical mistake from Awesome to the Max, and that'll open up the look for 5 Angry Men. Mace to face gets the first kill of the engagement, and the Judgment Tether will incur the damage. 5 members still deep. Homofe carving through the opposition. That's 2 kills to 0 right now. Only 3 members remain. Awesome to the Max, very, very low. Rom in the air, looking to get some sort of artillery damage to help his team out, but just not able to do so. 2 Phoenixes down. They're going to move on to the 3rd Phoenix. Not quite confident enough to take out the Titan, and I think that's the right move.
Yeah, I mean, just play it safe. This is the finals, for Pete's sake. So, take down all the towers, take down all the Phoenixes, and with the crushing pressure of the minions, you almost cannot lose. You can lose. We've seen it, but it's almost cannot.
They won't go for the Phoenix. Instead, they'll just get the tier 2 and they'll head to the Gold Fury. This is the time of the game where this is sort of more of a defensive Gold Fury than anything else. They're leading by 12,000 gold before that Gold Fury went down. Now it's 14,000. So it's sure. Will it finish their builds? Yes. Did it buy Sylvanas an entire Soul Reaver? Yes, it did. But more than that, it's preventing the comeback mechanic. Gold Fury is a fantastic comeback mechanic. You saw how fast that was killed. Resist Gaming could kill it just as much. 5 Angry Men take it off the board, and that will prevent any sort of like comebackitude that Resist has in their brains.
Ah, man. And you know what? I think the Titan poke is just going to be strong enough to end this game. So, Resist Gaming probably cannot fight on a dead Phoenix. And any spells that you throw through a wall onto a Titan without stepping into his little ring, he will take damage and he will not regenerate it. So just with Vulcan alone, I think there's enough poke for 5 Angry Men to confirm this Titan kill. Now, he's only at about 50%. I mean, he's still fairly high in health. And Fire Giant wears off in 9 seconds. Maybe 5 Angry Men are going to take it a little bit slower. We'll see. Hercules, not quite caught out there. Shadow Q doesn't find the pod. Oh, he does find the pull off of the Magma Bomb, though. That was cool.
I like that interaction, just to set up.
Yeah, cool.
Shadow Q, we always talk about just how mechanically gifted he is. Great at pressing buttons. I don't mean to diminish that. Like, he is fantastic at pressing his buttons, which is a one of the best. It's why he's considered one of the best supports in the league. Here we go, a lot of damage coming out on the right-hand side. Awesome to the Max, already 4th out of the fight. Vulcan ultimate, not going to secure a kill. Not going to do any damage at all, but neither is the Rom ult. So that's 1 for 1. 5 members of 5 Angry Men are here taking out the Phoenix. Mace is very low, and the Paradox is about half HP, so they can't quite siege like they wanted to, but that Phoenix came up, and they got it as soon as it did. So good attention to timers from 5 Angry Men in this 31st minute.
Yeah, 5 Angry Men is just going to have to go back for the Fire Giant. Reason being, they can't get Homofe to the backline. That's the problem they're having right now. Resist Gaming has not made the mistake they made before of diving in with their crowd control, and as a result, Homofe is still only having beads 1, actually. Just has trouble getting in, but that's the Hercules trying to get in range of the Fire Giant with the Athena on top. He's going to be taking massive damage and running out. Lord of the Afterlife reduces all healing to 0. A snipe comes through. Mason of the Base will die to Nintendo, dude, but it's not going to be enough as Homofe giving chase. Pantheon might be able to buy sometime. No, he's dead before he can even think about it. That's the end of the game. Just heading to the throne, heading to the win, heading to the game 2. 5 Angry Men up 1-0.
Ultimate coming out from Homofe just for the swag. Great ult coming out from Vulcan, and that's the kill. 32 minutes of regulation. 28-11. Read the kills. 5 Angry Men take game 1 of this best of 3 finals. Resist Gaming put up a good fight, honestly, but the late game comp just well, there was a late game comp. Kali and Vulcan just did too much.
Yeah, I mean, great play from 5 Angry Men. Their strategy is the same as before, and it
Yep.
probably will continue to be that for forever because they're really good at early game. But instead of going early game bridging into a strong mid game, they went early game, weak mid game, and then bridging into a strong late game. It was a really fantastic strategy, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do next game. If it's going to be, maybe they go early into mid when they feel confident, and then early into late when they're a little bit more threatened by a team. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I feel like it's the other way around. Early to late, if you can guarantee a fantastic early game, you just don't need a mid game because you'll just continue to be potent.
Sure.
It's the story of why Thanatos pug stomps. He's got a fantastic early game and a non-existent mid game. But if you go 12-0 in 10 minutes, Cret, your mid game doesn't matter because you're just stomping people. So that's
You're
pretty
in
much
late game already.
That's pretty much what we saw coming out of this 5-man roster. Just fantastic early game that lasted long enough for Kali to say, hey, I got chins now. We'll go ahead and do it. So we're going to get into our second game with as little delay as possible. 5-man up 1-0, best of 3. Stay tuned.